That was really fun, and I think I wowed a lot of people that day. There was a lot of people that came up to me like, "Holy crap, that bike is really fast, especially on the takeoff." Right? This is like a whole shot machine. I've just been blowing people away on the whole shots like no problem. And that's your advantage with the electric bike. There's no shifting, there's no gears, there's no clutch. You know, you just gotta make sure you weight down the front, and then when the light turns green, you twist the throttle all the way and you go. You know, then hopefully you don't loop yourself. All right, but I drag race this bike. I know how it is. All right, and oh yeah, so one of the improves from the last race was I was trying to get the bike to launch faster. All right. So what I did is I turned the phase current all the way up, the beginning phase current and the top speed, the top end phase current. I just turned them all the way up. The power just the power curve is just almost a straight line now. Okay, guys. I don't know what it is. KO Moto had it tuned up like that by default. So when you twist the throttle, it has a little bit of delay and then it takes off really hard. All right, and that's not good enough, man. Like, and these. For these start launches and takeoffs, like these race starts, you need to have the power right away, all right? Like, and so that's also one of the so this is the stuff that improved from the last race, all right? Or that's continually been improving on this bike. So this is my first time racing this new KO Moto setup, all right? And it's improved like 100%, is what I want to say. Before I had problems with it cutting out all the time. All right, it would cut off on launch, and then I would be stuck there. I have to turn the bike off, turn it back on. That is so embarrassing for that to happen. All right, there's no excuse for something like that to happen. All right, and so what they had told me is they programmed it so like if you're trying to demand a whole lot of power from it right away, the motor doesn't like that. It heats the motor up a whole lot, but for racing, you need to have that power right away. To get up a steep hill, you need to have the instantaneous power right away. You can't have it lagging like that. Okay, so they fixed that. They fixed it to keep it from cutting out when you take off. And so far, I haven't had a problem with it launching at all. So thank you KO for fixing that, man. That is so embarrassing when that happens. All right, so thanks for fixing that. That was like a huge improvement over the way it was before. And then, so they had that, that laggy throttle. They fixed the laggy throttle too. I fixed the laggy throttle by tuning the throttle so it has like all the power all the time. Supermoto demands a lot of power. If there's anything that tests the limits of this controller and motor, it's Supermoto. All right, there's nothing else. All right, maybe drag racing, but you're only gonna go down the drag strip for like 15-16 seconds. All right, this is a 15.8 second bike, guys. And I remember the launches were like really laggy too. So now that I've turned it all up, I can't wait to take it back to the drag strip and see our reaction times. All right, because we're not getting very good reaction times with this. Yeah, I think I had the throttle tuned pretty good before, and then they went with that update, and I wanted to try that new throttle curve that they had, and I don't like it, man. It's lag, then it takes off. All right, and I can't have that. I have to twist it and go. And so this thing is a whole shot freaking monster now. People's eyes just explode, when they watch me freaking take off. All right, a lot of people came up to me and they were like, they were legit impressed how fast the bike was. All right, how fast I was, how fast we were. All right, how fast we were going around the track and taking off and keeping up with these bikes. All right, a CRF 150R is no joke, guys. Those are really fast bikes. KX65, those are really fast bikes with the right kind of rider on it. All right, they're fast in the corners, as you can see. Once you get wound up, they're fast. All right. I've ridden one before very briefly, and yes, they go. Okay, if you got a really light rider on it, it's like a super cheater bike, man. I'm telling you. So no joke. And we're able to hang with them like in this 140-pound electric hybrid dirt bike thing. Okay, I have to say, how did the motor and controller do? Very good. They impressed me a whole lot. I think I got the motor to go into the yellow. All right, so when it starts to get hot, the color changes on the temperature gauge. I saw it go yellow for a second, and then it went back down to like whatever the regular color is. I think white or red. I don't remember what the original color was, but it was yellow. I was like, oh, it's getting pretty hot. And that was after the back-to-back main races. That was after we did the 16 laps with it. It's incredible. The endurance of this of these components is like 100% better than the Sauron stuff, all right, and the ASI stuff. The ASI controller, it overheat all the time. I'd always have to spray it with water and have a fan cooling it down, cool the motor down. I didn't have to do any of that. Granted, it wasn't that hot this weekend, okay? It was probably like, the temperatures ranged a lot from like 60s to the 80s, all right? Most of the time it was pretty cool, so I want to say. The true test will be when it's like 100-degree temps and we race with this stuff, okay? So currently the biggest bottleneck is the battery, and I tried my best to keep the batteries cool. That's the way we'll do it from now on. I'm gonna try to not do those back-to-back races. It's a lot of stress on the components to have to do back-to-back races on this. All right. Now, yeah, you could change the batteries. So actually the back-to-back races on Saturday were so yeah, this is the improved section now, guys. All right, or like how did the bike do, all right, type of thing. And I think having the 2 batteries helps a lot. All right, I think I managed the heat and swapping the batteries great, okay? But after one race, we come in, we swap another battery pack out, you know, that way we don't stress out the other pack, we don't overheat it, and it cools down for the next race, all right? Because we have to use those batteries, like, at least, we have to use the batteries 3 times, all right? One for practice, one for heat, and one for the main, and it was back to back, so we had to use the battery 3 times, so that's a total of 6 times because we had 2 races, all right? And that stresses the battery a lot, and it took it like a champ, is what I want to say. I think the battery, I did check the smaller battery pack, this guy, all right? I did check this guy out, and this guy only got up to 45C. That's the hottest it got after the race, all right? So when you get to about 50C, that's when you're starting to get pretty hot, and when it gets hotter than that, it's gonna shut off, all right? So you don't want that. Okay, so it did great. I can only imagine though if it's even hotter. So the next race at Desert Park Raceway in the championship will be in June, all right? And I think it's gonna be hot, all right? It's Reno, it's the desert, it gets hot, guys. So yeah, this will be a great torture test for this whole system. But the controller and motor, I am very impressed with it, all right? I didn't see the motor go past like 3/4. It would be average. It would be 3/4 of the heat, all right, on the heat bar, and then the controller, it never get past 25%. This controller is freaking badass, all right? Coming from an ASI BSA 4000 controller to this is night and day, man. The ASI controller would just overheat all the time. It would start pulling power, and it would get slower and slower. This is a freaking beast, man. This thing provides power all the time, provided your battery can still, you know, can keep up with the controller. Yeah, man, it is legit. And we were straight up hole shotting people. The power delivery was excellent, all right? I am now able to keep up with the 150R, all right? Now, a 150R with the fast rider, that's a tough one, all right? But it's racing, you know, anything can happen type of thing, all right? So that's a wonderful thing about racing. You have some chance to get on the podium. Okay, so I want to say, unfortunately, we didn't get any more podiums. We got 2nd place in 65 GP, so I got a trophy, but I didn't get to take home a trophy because they didn't have one for us. They're going to mail it to me, so I will shoot another video and share it with you guys when I get it, all right, type of thing. Alright, it should be pretty dope. I asked them, hey, can you put my name on it? So maybe we'll have our name on it. I love customized trophies, alright? Yeah, and I was really happy with the way the bike handled. I had been tuning the suspension on this bike lately. I've been following what it says in the Dorado manual. I have it set up for mixed riding, all right? Mixed riding, but I've jacked up the compression to make it a little bit stiff. For Supermoto, you want some pretty stiff suspension, all right? You don't need it. Yeah, so what I probably should have it set up for is like free ride. There's a free ride setting, there's a mixed setting, and then there's like a downhill setting, all right, where like you're riding in like really rough terrain. That is for like dirt biking, like riding on trails and stuff. So I will try that setup some other time. But the mixed riding setup, it worked pretty good. And so what I did is I added some extra compression dampening. I made the compression dampening stiffer, the high speed, 5 clicks. And I didn't mess with it the whole weekend. It seemed pretty good, all right? The tires gripped great. They grip better than the ones on this one, all right? We used the tire warmers. Tire warmers were great. This is a track that you want to get as much traction as you can because the traction is pretty poor on the track, all right? If you push it hard enough, your bike will go sliding, all right? And then you will go down, all right? That's what happens to a lot of those riders, that you're just pushing really, really hard, okay? And that's what you got to do to win sometimes, but it's risky, is what I'm gonna say. All right, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything. The suspension, yeah. So another thing is the drivetrain started making a lot of noises, and I ran out of chain lube. All right, so I got to remember to bring more chain lube with me. Yeah, but yeah, I will do that. I'll put a full bottle of chain lube in my tool thing. So we keep the primary drive needs a lot of oil apparently. But I don't remember if this is, did I ever use this on the track? I did use it at Horse Thief Mile, and that was with the messed up chain. Okay, so yeah, so I'm always inspecting the chain, especially the primary drive chain. It didn't get loose at all. I think the secondary drive, the bigger chain, it got a little bit loose. It's at the maximum right now, so maybe I can tighten that up just a little bit. But everything was fine. I didn't have to do any major maintenance to the bike the whole weekend. All right. KLX did great, all right, for practice. I think by the end, I got some more practices in it. I practiced Saturday night after the races with this, and I was feeling more comfortable with it, all right. I love the way this bike corners. I like it the way it corners better than this bike, all right, but it's so much more work to ride this bike is what I want to say. All right, but I still love riding this bike. Don't get me wrong, I still ride gas bikes, guys, okay? And yeah, but I felt that the tires gripped a lot better by the end of the day. And yeah, this bike just wowed a lot of people. So the 3 things, did you have fun, Hades Omega? Yes, I had a lot of fun, all right? I had a lot of battles with everybody, and I think I wowed a lot of people, all right? A lot of people, I've gotten a lot of fans over the years. People like, hey, this is the guy with the electric bike, you know? It's something different is what I'm going to say, all right? And all I can say is, hey, if you got a Sauron and you're in the Reno area and you want to do some racing on the track, please come out and race with me. If we can get enough Saurons at the track, we can have a class just for the Saurons to race, all right? We'll probably have like a modified Sauron and like a stock Sauron class, because a modified Sauron is ridiculously fast compared to a stock Sauron, all right? But yeah, that's my goal, man. Please come out and race with Hades Omega. I know it's kind of a lot of stuff to invest in. You got to get a race suit. You got to get all this, you know, sliders and stuff on your bike and good tires and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'd like other Saurons and electric bikes to come out and race with me. But I'm always the only one out there. All right. There was a teeny tiny little electric KTM bike racing in the children's race. All right, it was a really small one, and they do race those Stasic bikes. All right, but I want to see some Saurons out there, guys. Come on, Sauron, an Alta, Cake, whatever, a free ride. You know, put some street tires on that bad boy. Put some dual sport tires, and let's go racing. All right, type of thing, guys. All right. So I think the next race is going to be in June. I think I'm gonna go. There's 2 more races, but I don't think I'm gonna. I'm running out of money, and I'm gonna buy another bike soon, guys. All right. So some spoilers. I'm planning to buy another bike. All right. I'm not gonna tell what it is yet. You'll find out in another video. All right. And it's gonna be a bike that I'm going to race with. All right. Yeah. I'm really happy with how the bike did. A lot of people that I've been racing with were really impressed with how fast we were on the bike. All right. Like I say, we, you know, combine me, Hades Omega, and the Light Bee. All right. Yeah, they said like, man, you're so fast. You're so fast around. You're fast around the corners. I'm doing a good job of blocking. So on this track, there's kind of just like one good line to take. If you can block that inside line, they're not going to be able to pass you. They'll have to go to the outside, but it's very difficult. All right, and they're going to be pushing the bike hard, unless they're a badass rider type of thing. Okay, but yeah, I'm getting better at like blocking the turns and stuff. Hades Omega is too nice, alright? I'm not gonna lie, I'm too nice when I race, alright? Sometimes I let them go, you know, like, you gotta not do that, Hayes Vega. You've gotta play, you know, you gotta be more aggressive, alright? I don't want to be too aggressive and do like these freaking dick moves that some people do sometimes, alright? Also, I improved a lot in the dirt section. Since I rode it last time, I found a good line. I think after the tabletop, I get a good jump off of the tabletop. I think I was getting some pretty good air on it too. I don't know. I don't think I could quite clear it because you don't get that big of a runway to do it. But I was getting some good air on it. I remember I was following Dean with it. It was so much fun riding with him in the dirt. And I cut the first corner. Yeah, instead of riding the berm, I cut the 2 corners. And then I ride the berm on the second corner, and in the third corner I ride the berm, and then I ride the fourth berm, and then I cut the corner again. All right, so there's 2 ways on this dirt course. There's 2 ways to go. You can ride the berm, or you can try to flat track, ride the flatter part, but you're gonna have to lean the bike and you have to slide the bike yourself. All right, instead of trying to slingshot your way around the berm. And Hades Mega's been practicing a lot of flat track riding and stuff. I like to practice like sliding the bike and stuff, and that's where it's paying off in these kind of races, all right, taking that shorter line. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was racing in the dirt for the main race, a couple guys were doing that too. They were taking the shorter line, they were flat tracking it, all right, just like I was. So I was like, oh, this guy's doing that line too. Like, well, I'll just follow him. How about that? Okay, and yeah, I was impressed. Like some people did the same thing I did. So. Being able to be fast in the dirt, you know, it can, maybe you can be better than someone that's not in the dirt, and then you can catch up. You can make up for your deficiencies on the pavement, is what I say. Okay. Also, another thing is like, yeah, when you get out of dirt, there's dirt on your tires, and it's real slippery. There's that chicane part, and it's really slippery looking, man. It's kind of scary. Anyway, that's the end of my AAR. Thanks for watching all the way through. I know this one was a long one because I had like 3 races this weekend. I think next time I might only do 2 races, but I might have another bike next time, so I might wind up doing 3 races. All right, I'm not sure. I'll have another bike, but it won't be like prime time for it, is what I want to say. But I'm gonna try it out, maybe. Okay, just to see how it does. Yeah, exciting things, man. It's been a minute since I've been on the kart track, and I had a ton of fun. I was kind of worried. This new controller, I didn't have the regen throttle anymore. The brakes, I didn't talk about the brakes. The brakes did okay, all right. I'm having to learn how to use the mechanical brakes again because the and the regen, I have it set for 40 amps of regen. I didn't think that's good. The only thing I don't like is when you get off the regen, sometimes it's kind of clunky. Like it upsets the balance of the bike. It gives you a lot of regen right away, and that could upset the balance of the bike. Where if I had the regen throttle, I can dial in how much I want. If I feel like it's too much, I'll back off a little bit, you know. Or and this, you can't really control it. You have to let go of the throttle, and then it does its thing. It's like an air brake or something, you know. And then you got to get back on the throttle when you want to go, and then you have to use the physical brakes too. What I do is like I'll let that slow the bike. I'll let it engine brake into the turn a little bit. I'll throw the bike sideways, and then I'll So when we're slowing down, I'm using the main brakes, all right, the front brakes and the rear brakes, and we're using the regen to slow down. So we're slowing down like pretty fast, all right. With the combination of all those 3 things, it slows down pretty fast, and then I throw it into the turn. All right, so this thing, it cuts off at 12 miles per hour. I don't like that. I don't like that for dirt biking, but for supermoto it's okay because we're going at higher speeds. Okay, so the max speed I clocked myself at with the GPS was 60 miles an hour. We're hitting 60 miles an hour before we get into that turn, and we're definitely slowing down to 12 miles an hour because I can feel the regen kicking off, right? When I feel that regen kicking off, I know, oops, it's time to get back on the throttle, Merlin. Okay, you slowed down too much, you got to get back on the throttle, all right? And so that's the name of the game. The faster you can slow down the bike, the faster you can get it started, you know, get back on the throttle, all right? And you want to minimize your time braking and maximize your time on throttle, all right? that's how you can be fast on the track, all right? And I'm still working on it. It's a lot to manage, all right? The regen throttle was so much easier. I would just kind of just use the regen throttle and the front brake all the time. I wouldn't use the rear brake as much. I'm using the rear brake a lot right now, okay? Sometimes I'm using it too much and the back slips out too much, all right? So we don't want that, all right? Well, we don't want that, or you want to be able to slide the bike, get good at sliding the bike like that, but it's scary for me. I'm not good at it, all right, guys? I know the Supermoto guys, the really fast Supermoto guys, they back it into the corner. They go sideways, and that's how they scrub speed. They drift into the corner, but that scares the shit out of me, man. So I don't do it, all right? I'm not that, I don't feel that confident, all right? But I can kind of do it now. I can kind of do it, and I can kind of do it with the regen throttle before, but now I'm having to learn how to do all the braking again and getting the bike to slide into the corner and stuff. So I'm still learning how to ride the bike, but we're doing really good. We're doing really good, okay? Hopefully we can do better next time, all right? It's gonna be hotter next time, unfortunately. Woo-hoo. It's Reno and it gets hot, guys. It's in the desert, all right? Okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about is elevation, all right? Yeah, before I let you guys go, elevation. Reno is at 5,000 feet, all right? So guess what? There's less oxygen, all right? So I need oxygen, you know, but the bike doesn't need oxygen, all right? It doesn't need jetting. It doesn't need fuel injection. It doesn't care what elevation we're at. So one of the reasons I think my bike is faster, one of the reasons I can keep up with the 150Rs is because my bike has the same power it does at sea level than it does at 5,000 feet, all right? You could do all the jetting and fuel injection tuning you want at 5,000 feet. You're going to lose power at 5,000 feet on a gasoline bike, all right? Because the lack of oxygen, all right? There's less oxygen in the air. If you need oxygen and fuel to make power, right? Well, if you get less oxygen, you can only you have to put in less fuel, because you'll have too much. It'll be too rich or something. Yeah. You'll have too much fuel in there, and then the mixture will be off, right? Well, anyway, the Light B doesn't need oxygen to run better, all right? It runs, however, you know, it is affected by temperature, all right? If it's too cold or too hot, it may not be as powerful, type of thing. But the weather was in our favor this time, all right? Is what I want to say. And also, yeah, I think that's the reason that why we're so much faster than everybody else, all right? How like I'm able to keep up with the 150Rs, because I wasn't able to keep up with them before, man. Is because of the altitude, okay? Because we're at 5,000 feet versus like sea level, all right? The Light B has the same amount of power as it does at sea level, where the other bikes have less power because there's less oxygen in the air, all right? And then, yeah, they have to mess around with their jetting and all that stuff. So even if they got the jetting and the fuel mixture all right, they're still going to make less horsepower because you have less oxygen, okay? So that's the scoop. So electric cheater bike. This is what I want to say, electric cheater bike. Okay. All right, thanks for watching. Here's Big Al. That's the end of the AR.